On this episode of the Procedurally Generated Show, Tony goes to war, Ethan dances with the devil, and Shannon rolls around a lot. We talk about all the biggest news stories of the week and get into a discussion about the recent video game awards. Well, howdy, everybody. Welcome to the Procedurally Generated Show. I'm your host, Tony, and joining me this week, I've got Ethan.
You came back just in time for me while I'm watching Dragon Ball.
You're not going to leave in the middle of the show this week, are you?
The show's already over.
The show's already over?
Yeah, the show's ending right now. The one I'm watching, Dragon Ball, yeah.
Oh, okay. I was confused. I thought the show that we're recording was ending, but it's just getting started.
Yeah, this show's getting started. The one I'm watching is ending.
Okay. That makes more sense. You should probably not watch a show while we're trying to record a show.
I've gotten used to doing that over the last couple of years.
Oh, okay then. And also joining us this week, Ethan, we've got Shannon.
Thank you for tuning in, listeners. It's been real. Hope you guys have a good week, and that's a wrap.
All right, end of show. You guys just want to go play Smash Brothers. That's what's going on.
You're not wrong.
I played it for like 11 hours already today.
I built a gingerbread Mario castle.
Really?
That sounds pretty awesome.
I did.
Sounds delicious.
Yep, me and two of my daughters built it. It's probably not that delicious, actually.
It depends on the brand. Like, some of those Walmart store gingerbread houses are pretty terrible. So
they're just there for decoration, nothing more.
Yeah.
The gingerbread you usually use to make gingerbread houses is not that edible.
No.
So, and there's no telling how old this gingerbread actually is. And it's been sitting on my table. Well, not for very long, just a couple hours, really. But I wouldn't want to eat this. My whole kitchen, though, or my dining room smells of gingerbread. Like, that's all I smell right now is just gingerbread.
Nice.
So, it is very strong.
See, if I were to build a gingerbread house, and we're going to say Mario themed, I'd probably just settle for something simple like the pipe house from Mario RPG.
Oh, that would work. That would work. This is it's like an 8 by 5 inch by maybe 6 or 7 inches tall castle.
Sounds like a challenge for a small castle, man.
And only one side of it's actually decorated. I only decorated the front side. We didn't decorate the back side or the sides. So
you cheated. That's what that sounds like.
Well, it's going to be pushed up against a wall where nobody's going to see the back. So I figured
that's like we didn't decorate the whole Christmas tree because it's in a corner. I mean, come on.
No, I didn't decorate the whole Christmas tree either. If it's pushed back in the corner, you can't see 2/3 of it. Only 1/3 of the Christmas tree got decorated.
Boo.
Do you put Christmas lights all the way around the roof of your house, or do you just do the front where everyone's going to see it?
I don't put lights outside the house.
Neither do I. It's a waste of electricity. we drive down. Tonight we drove down Munford, Tennessee, and on their main street they've got like all these fancy lights on the poles. And Lauren and Travis are saying, "Ooh, look at the pretty Christmas lights!" And all that's running through my head is, "Ooh, look at the city burning taxpayer dollars to make things look pretty." Great.
Hey, it gives people, happy feelings inside.
All right. I'll give you that.
We'll be doing our yearly drive around looking at Christmas lights here in the next couple of weeks. So, but yeah, so
I know
Shannon,
a lot of people around here, they go to like Elk City, see the lights over there.
Do a lot of people in Shamrock decorate for Christmas?
Yeah, most of them.
Oh, okay. Do you decorate for Christmas?
No.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go. Shannon, what game do you want to talk about this week?
So, we're all gonna probably spend quite a bit of time on one particular game.
Well,
So,
maybe 2/3 of us will. I haven't played the game you're speaking of.
oh, okay. Well, so I can avoid the hot topic game, I will speak of another Switch game that came out on the same day as said hot topic game. That would be Katamari Damacy Reroll. This is, for all intents purposes, this is a remake of the original PlayStation 2 game brought to the Switch.
Nice.
Was the Switch the only thing it came to this time?
Far as I know, I did not see it come out anywhere else, but I can fact check that.
I don't remember it being announced for anything else besides Switch.
It's been a while since we had a Katamari game on. Yeah, it's Switch. As far as I know, we haven't had a Katamari game on a system, like on an actual system, since I think Beautiful Katamari was on the Xbox 360. Because I don't think we've had a current gen Katamari at all.
Did they put one on the Vita?
Ooh,
Yes, they did.
Yeah. Okay, good call. I didn't think about that. Yeah. Okay, there's a Katamari on the Vita, but that's the last one, and it's been at least what, 5 or 6 years, give or take.
It's been a while.
I think that was
Yeah.
the first one I ever played, and the only one I've played.
Oh, they're so good. They're so silly stupid. Like it's the appropriate amount of childish humor wrapped in a kind of adult appreciative writing, and I really like it. So you get these really stupid visuals of the King of All Cosmos. For people who don't know what Katamari is, the King of All Cosmos is Prince Katamari's father. You play as the prince. One night, or at least in this game in particular, the King of All Cosmos got a little turned up on Cosmo juice, and went out dancing and spun so hard he destroyed all the stars in the sky. And it is your job as the Prince of All Cosmos to fix his problem, because he is your father, and that's just how it goes. He made you, so he makes the rules. That's just how it goes. How you create the stars is you have this Katamari, which is a sticky ball, and you roll that sticky ball and you pick up
Everything.
You pick up everything. Clutter. You pick up, stationery. You pick up small animals. Your Katamari gets larger and larger, and the bigger you are, the bigger stuff you can pick up. Even to the point where, towards the end of the game, you're picking up like cruise liners and continents and rainbows in just soaring over the ocean. You're picking up.
It should be noted, you're like the size of a small insect still.
Yeah.
The entire
Time.
time.
You're tiny the entire time, but you have. I think they use ant logic. Like, ants are so small they can move things that are like 40 times their own weight or something to that effect. Yeah, it's again silly, stupid.
I'm trying to figure out how you pick up light.
You know what? I don't know, but I very specifically remember picking up a rainbow at some point playing one of these games. But yeah, and you were basically recreating the night sky that your father destroyed. So
Okay.
They're fun. They have an amazing soundtrack. This one in particular being a remake of the original. It carries over fairly well to the Switch. I have played it both in docked and undocked mode. It looks very good. I'm not noticing any issues with slowdown or this is a game that there is so much stuff, because literally everything can be picked up, everything can be interacted with in some way, shape, or form. There are some systems that they've made games for where you'll hit the like when you hit a new size tier, like the world kind of does this perspective shift when other items become available for you to start grabbing.
Mm-hmm.
And at some point, I remember playing the Xbox game where that would cause weird glitching. It's not an issue in this one, but yeah. The one of the cool things that they did in this is they added Joy-Con motion controls.
Ooh.
Yeah, I was curious to know how that worked.
Yeah, so you tilt forward. It's basically like you're driving. So the way these games control in a typical, like if you're using just a regular controller, they control the same way that a remote controlled car, like an old school remote controlled car would, where you have two sticks that are both in the vertical uh, range of motion. So one stick controls the left side of the car, one stick controls the right side of the car. So if you want to turn right, you move the left stick up, the right stick down. If you want to turn left, you move the left stick down, the right stick up. If you both sticks back to go backwards, both stick forward to go forwards. The same works with the Joy-Cons just doing the motion controls. You just kind of lean them both in one direction to go forward, shift them around to turn. You have your speed boost, which was always kind of weird and difficult because the way your speed boost has worked in previous games is you rock the thumbsticks in opposite directions very quickly to build up a speed boost and then let go of them to shoot forward. The way it works in this one is you just kind of shake the Joy-Con.
Oh.
So it's made it a whole lot easier to do that, because sometimes that was a little that was a difficult motion to do, especially like on the Vita. Or
I don't remember if that was on the Vita. If it was, I didn't do it.
Yeah,
How did I beat that game?
It's something you can use to you can use that to ram into stuff. You can use it to, like, if there's a line, like a straight line of objects that you can pick up, you can just speed boost through it to pick them up very quickly. Each one of the stages that you start, you have a particular size that you want your Katamari to get to, and you have a time limit to get that size. So you're really just kind of racing the clock to meet the goal at every level. So the speed boost is helpful.
Cool.
The multiplayer is still functioning in this game. I haven't had a chance to check it out yet, but I do see that the Cousins Mushroom Planet is accessible. So I'm assuming I could throw a second set of Joy-Cons into this and play it with Lauren or Travis.
I was about to ask, is it still one of the cousins that comes in and helps?
Yeah, when I first got to my Katamari homeworld, I saw the mushroom floating off to the side, so I jumped over to it, and yeah, it's a ton of the weird cousins that we all look alike, but we're all different colors, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. And this is all local. There's no online.
I don't think there's any online. If there was, I didn't see anything leading me to it.
Okay.
So I may fact check that when somebody else jumps on, but I don't think there's online in this. I don't think they added any features.
Yeah.
Other
it's
than
just a straight port of the PS2 game.
Yeah, and it's a well done port. It's budget priced. I think it may be 20 or 25 on the eShop. There's a GameStop exclusive physical cartridge that I think was 30. I had it pre-ordered, so.
I think it's $30, and it's also on Steam apparently.
Oh, it's on Steam too.
It says PC. It said Steam when I was looking.
Okay, cool. Even more people can play it. It's a lot of fun. I'm very pleased with it so far. I will definitely finish the whole thing.
Yes, it is on Steam, $30.
Cool. I originally played this game well over a decade ago in high school on my PlayStation 2, and I am very much looking forward to sitting down with Travis at some point in the coming weeks and doing the multiplayer with him, because it is just the writing. It reminds me a lot of a Pixar movie, not in the way that it looks, but in the way that it appeals to an audience. Like
Yeah.
it has the colorful, cutesy animation stuff that appeals to kids, but it has the funny writing that will work for an adult. Like it's that kind of a game. It's the kind of thing I want to sit down and play with my kids.
There you go. All right. Well, is that it?
Yep, that's it.
All right, Ethan. What about you?
So I played the Devil May Cry 5 demo that is currently exclusive to Xbox One.
Yay!
And it was very much Devil May Cry, proper Devil May Cry, not that Ninja Theory Devil May Cry stuff.
Okay.
Hey, I like my DMC.
No, don't get me wrong. That game is good, and it in a certain way, just not the way people are wanting it to be, or not the way Devil May Cry fans expect it.
So this feels a bit like a return to form for the series.
Very much so.
Okay.
The demo, you get to play as Nero, get to play around with two of the
Prosthetics.
Prosthetics.
that word, two of those arms, and I'm really not used to using an Xbox controller, so I'm really looking forward to getting to play with a PS4 controller eventually on, I'm guessing, what will be the next demo that rolls out at some point.
Yeah, because this first demo is exclusive to the Xbox.
From what I've read, I believe so.
That's the way I understood it. This was announced during the VGAs. There was a little bit of confusion during the show, but I think this is an Xbox exclusive demo. The next one would come to the other platforms.
This is very bold on Microsoft's part. Like I have all 4 of the regular Devil May Cry games on Xbox One, and I'm right there with you, Ethan. Like I remember playing Devil May Cry 3 on the PlayStation 2. I never played DMC4, so I figured, okay, it's on Game Pass. I'll check it out on Xbox. And it is a learning curve to try and play that game on a completely different controller. So
Yes.
but huge bold props go to Xbox for locking down an exclusive demo for.
Well, they were also the ones that got to show it off first at E3.
Yeah, like they're working really close with
Capcom.
Thank you. We're all stuttering tonight.
It's infectious.
Yeah, they're working really closely with Capcom, and it's cool to see Japanese development team getting in with Microsoft.
Yeah.
So
Now, if I could get a PS4 style controller on Xbox, that'd be good to go. But till that happens,
talk to Micah. He's got like one of those Bluetooth USB multi. Like it'll make like any controller work with another system.
I know what those are. I might have to look into one. Control wise, Devil May Cry, it looks and ran extremely well on the Xbox One. Looked amazing for an 8 gigabyte demo. Seemed a little short.
How long is it?
Probably 20 minutes.
Oh wow, yeah,
10 minutes if you rush it.
I'm wondering. So it was 8 gigabytes for. You have a classic Xbox.
Yes.
Okay.
Which if I start using my system more, I think I need to get a new system.
I'm wondering if the download is the same for the Xbox One X, because I did see.
I don't know. I mean, would there be a reason for them to have a 4K version of that demo out, or would the demo already be in the 4K upscale?
So the site on the Microsoft Game Store for that demo does list it as Xbox One X enhanced. So it makes me wonder, are they giving the same download to every system?
Probably.
And you're downloading 4K worth of assets, which would lead to that 8 gigabyte size for a 20-minute demo, when your system doesn't even have the ability to use all of that.
Makes sense to me.
Maybe just for ease of use, because there are some games like Forza, for example. If you download Forza on a 1S or an original one, it gives you a completely different download of the game that just doesn't have the 4K assets.
Huh.
So it just uses less space.
One of the new features, since Nero's got the prosthetic, the fake arm,
Yeah. Yeah.
there's a new mechanic called Breakaway. I think it
Okay.
was called Breakaway. It's kind of like a dodge ability. He pops the arm off, and the arm will stay behind. And if you're like caught in a monster, the arm stays with that, and then eventually explodes.
That's cool.
And each of the arms uh, that you'll have different uses and abilities. So like one of them can do like uh, I think the ones that I was using on there did grapple, and then like the charge ability for one of them was some kind of beam weapon. The other one was like a big punch or something. It was kind of hard to get them to proc all the time on the abilities because you had to like nail the enemy with it properly, and then of course uh, since they're easily found on the ground anywhere, and you're using them left and right to just explode here and there. After you use the super, I seem to have found them just being useless after that, and you'd have to go and get a new one.
Hmm.
So that was kind of a cool thing to do, and it was just really nice getting back to a proper Devil May Cry game. That's the main thing I was really excited for on this demo.
I'm very curious if you feel like the prosthetics thing is going to become a gimmick, because like the one pre-order bonus that I see
The Mega
for
Man Buster.
yeah, like it's all of the pre-order bonus stuff is different prosthetics for his arm. And normally when companies lean super heavy into one mechanic in a game, and it sounds like the demo was all leaning around getting you to try out that new mechanic, it makes me worry, is it going to add to that classic Devil May Cry form, or is it going to be something that
Do
you
you
eventually
remember
ignore?
playing Devil May Cry 4?
Not very much.
So because you played 3, you do know how Dante handles. You beat an enemy,
Yeah,
beat a boss, get a new weapon.
yeah.
Nero in 4, he already had a devil arm, and it was like a devil arm or whatever you want to call it.
Mhm.
And all he really had was the grab and punch thing with it. And whenever you defeat bosses on there, you just got you didn't get new weapons, you got kind of like new abilities with it. And so he didn't really change in his gameplay much. The arms are
Gotcha.
are what's changing how he plays for this time around, because
Okay.
one, the arm's been ripped off, which is part of the story. And then Dante,
No, I mean that.
Dante's even opened up the vault to get out the weapons he's stored up over each game, because that's how serious the demon problem on Earth has become in this game.
Okay, that's very cool. That makes me really looking forward to tomorrow afternoon when I get to sit down and play this for myself. Um, but you raise a very good point, because in Devil May Cry 3, Agni and Rudra play completely different from like Cerberus or that vampire sword scythe thing. Like
The
every
guitar
single one
thing,
of
yeah.
yeah, they all completely changed the way the game works. So okay, that sounds way more interesting than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, because without the arm, he's basically got a gun that he can't use unless if he can use the gun or he can use the sword. And from what I can see on the gun, he now just shoots and then he's got to reload and shoot again. It's no longer just constant shooting.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm wondering if that's related to him losing the devil ability now, the devil trigger, which added some sort of mystical ability to keep using his gun, I guess, or he was quick on the reload. I don't know. But apparently, like Dante's Ebony and Ivory, they're made specially, so they never have to be reloaded anyway.
Because, like, video game logic, right?
Right.
Of course.
Well, there's like also I think there's a novel and some manga out there, and they explain that here and there, I guess. And in fact, the lady that's making Nero's arms, she's that. She's the one that drives the camper that they're using now. Her, I don't know, mother or grandmother was the one that made Dante's guns, so that's kind of cool. Anyway, yeah, I played the Devil May Cry 5 demo, so that's free on Xbox One. Go check it out.
Nice. Well, it sounds like you're enjoying it.
It's short and it's pretty good.
Cool. All right. So I guess that leads to me, and I've been out for a couple weeks, and during that couple of weeks, I've basically been playing one game.
He had the plague, so he had to cure it.
I had the plague, so I had to cure it, and the only cure was Warframe.
More cowbell.
I haven't seen any cowbells in the game.
Yeah, we can email the dev and ask.
Doesn't mean they're not there. There's probably a cowbell somewhere in that game. No, so I mean, this is it's been around for a while. I think it originally came out in 2013 on the PlayStation. It's a free-to-play game, which free-to-play games can be hit and miss on consoles. But I think this is probably the best free-to-play game.
It's massively different from the original release.
That I understand that as well. When it came out, it was lacking in content. There was not a lot to do. A lot of the stuff.
I think the original description I saw said it was like an arena brawler, and I was like, that's not right.
Yeah, and that is not what Warframe is. So it is a third-person space shooting, collect all the loot. There's a little, yeah. There's a little bit of that Monster Hunter sort of. If you see it in the environment, collect it because you're gonna need it at some point.
Very, very true.
So, and the whole sort of hook to this game is while you're out doing missions, you're getting all of this stuff that you can bring back, and then you can build new weapons, you can build new warframes. The warframes are your character basically in the game. And each warframe is sort of like its own separate class. And that's, I think, the best way to describe it.
A perfect way to describe it. Yes.
Yeah, I think you start out. You have a choice of 3 different warframes. There's your generic. I don't want to say generic. Your regular sort of all around type character.
He's pure melee Excalibur. Then you have
Mag,
which specializes in, I guess, crowd. Was that one crowd control? Or was
that's crowd control.
Okay, and then Volt was like single target magic abilities.
Yeah, Volt uses electricity, and he can chain attacks together. So, like, if he shoots out a bolt of lightning, if there are any enemies close to his target, the bolts of lightning will then chain to the enemies that are close to them. I chose Volt, but have very quickly changed to another Warframe because I did get. I have Twitch Prime and unlocked the Twitch Prime exclusive Warframe, which is called Trinity Prime.
It's a good one.
And Trinity Prime is a really good one. It's a Warframe that focuses a lot on healing, so you can lock enemy characters in this like stasis effect, and anybody that shoots the character that you've got locked in this, like, it puts this like green bubble around them, and any characters that shoot that enemy will gain health from that enemy as you're shooting it. So,
oh man, I could have used your help on the PS4 last year at some point.
So that's been the one that I've been playing a lot. You have to get new items in the game, you need to find blueprints to build those items. And you can either spend in-game currency to gain access to the blueprints, but then you have to have the components that item needs
Which
to be able to
requires
build
more
them.
in-game currency or item trading.
Yes. And then once you've gathered all of the items for that particular thing that you're building, you then go to a foundry in your ship and you start to build it, and then it takes real world different amounts of time, 8 hours, 4 hours, 24 hours. I think 24 hours is the longest I've seen yet. I mean, there may be some that are longer.
I think I had a couple that took a few days.
Really?
Yeah.
So, I mean, most of the stuff I've seen is either like 4, 6, or 12 hours. And then I'm working on an item right now, a new gun that takes a full 24 hours to build.
Yeah,
So,
the better the item, the longer it's going to take.
Exactly. And I don't think there's a way to speed that up. I mean, there may be, but I haven't seen it.
I want to say you can like pay to speed it up to like be instant, but I don't know.
Maybe. I don't really know. Because there are, of course, being a free-to-play game, there are things that you can buy using real-world money.
Like the primes.
Which are even more powerful versions of some of the other Warframes.
And you can also get blueprints to build them just by playing the game regularly as well.
Yeah, there is, from everything I've seen and heard from talking to people about the game, anything in the game can be obtained by playing the game.
It's just a question of how to get the item and
how much grinding do you want to do. So, but the game itself is it's a really fast-paced third-person shooter. Mostly. I mean, it does have some melee, and you have to try to balance the shooting versus the melee. And when you're fighting enemies, there's tons of different types of missions. I think there are 2 different sort of story progressions. There's main story missions that have cutscenes and voice acting, and they're really well done. And then there is the going around to all of the different planets and just playing all the different types of missions. But to unlock some missions, you have to play missions on other planets. I ran into this pretty early, and I actually told you about it, where I was trying to get to Mars to do something. You start on Earth, and then all of the planets in the solar system and some of the moons are available. They all have missions. It's very much like Destiny in that respect.
You have a progression you have to follow, and you can kind of see the mapping for it as well.
Yeah. There are trails that you can see that take you through all the different missions, and to unlock the different other planets, you have to unlock I don't remember what they're called. It's not a node, but it's something like that in the game.
It's
to get to that planet. It connects the 2 planets together, and on Earth, you can go to Venus or Mars, and I sort of took the path that was going to lead me to Mars. Got to where I could unlock the path to Mars, but then it said, you got to do all this other stuff before we'll open up this gate. And to do that, I had to go through Venus to get to Mercury, do a bunch of missions on Mercury, and then go back to Earth to unlock the path to get to Mars.
And each one of those transfer locations is a boss.
Yes.
And they're basically just other Tenno or Warframes that you have to fight.
But they are sort of a boss fight, but they're not very difficult boss fights.
Well, not the ones that you're fighting right now.
The ones I've done now. I've done 2 of them to this point. I've unlocked Venus and I've unlocked Mercury. And both of those were pretty easy fights. One of the other big sort of aspects of this game is the community. And early on, I turned off the let anybody join you whenever they want thing and was trying to do the missions by myself. And then I very quickly was like, you know what? I'm going to get to a point very soon
Mhm.
where I'm going to need help. So I just turned it back on, and it made the game a whole lot more fun.
It's fine until you get to the missions where it's survive the, we're gonna call them zombies,
hmm
and then it's like, all right, you've survived this many waves. You can leave or you can stay, and then you're standing at the exit point, and everyone else in your party is still fighting. It's like, guys, come on, I need to go. I can't just quit out. I need credit here. I got to go.
hmm Yeah. I haven't run into any of that with any of the people that I've been playing. When we hit those points where it's like you can unlock the extraction, most of the people generally head straight to the extraction point. Um, Thankfully, you can communicate with other players. It has native voice chat in the game, but it also has text chat that you can send messages back and forth to the people that you're playing with. Um,
Text chat's the first thing I turned off.
but I've found that unlike a lot of other games, the community in Warframe is super friendly. Like everybody is willing to help. I've never had I've never seen anybody calling anybody other names. I mean, I'm sure some of that happens. There's none of that. I've been playing this game for years, and you're just starting out. I'm not going to help you. Everybody that has a lot of high level characters is more than willing to help the people that are just starting get through some of those early missions to get some of the parts that they need to build some of the other equipment and things like that.
Yeah, because
There's a positive community in a free-to-play game.
There is.
it's not a completely horrible community. It's kind of weird.
No.
That's the reason I turned the chat off is because I want a full screen experience of what I'm looking at. That's the only reason I do that.
And that if you have that chat open, it's constantly scrolling, so it's really hard to read a lot of that stuff. Anyway, so you can just turn that off, and you don't have to deal with that, and you can just chat with the people that are a part of your squad if you want. A couple of times I've been like, I want to do a very specific mission, and if there's a channel in the chat for recruiting other players, you just go in there, you say, hey, I need some help doing this one mission. I'm trying to get this item to build something, and I'm doing this one mission, and within a few seconds I had someone saying, hey, I'll come and help you out, and they would join my squad. I would start the mission, another person would join as we're loading in the mission itself, and we'd have a 2 or 3 or a 4-man squad go through the mission super quick.
I would generally just go to start the mission, and it would look for auto look for a party and put me with people. Or
it does.
Or they would join me later, so I wouldn't have to bother looking. But I'm sure that works out a lot better doing it the way you are.
You have the option to play solo. You can turn all of that stuff off. You can play friends only, or you can set it to just anybody that wants to play. And when you start a mission, it will look through and see if anybody else is starting that other mission, and if they've got that setting to play with other people, it'll just group you together automatically and drop you in that mission, and you now have multiple people that are trying to complete the same mission together. It's super well done. I have no bad things to say about this game so far. Playing through for a free-to-play game, they could have easily charged $60 at this point for the game that they have now, and nobody would have said anything.
Yeah, maybe.
But it is completely free to play, and it is a wonderful game. Like I very much see that this is going to take up a bunch of my time. Where
also, if you have the Twitch Prime stuff, I highly recommend linking that with your account, because you get free stuff through there on occasion. Probably every couple of months there's at least something.
Yeah.
Whether it's a Prime or a just some cosmetic stuff, it's totally worth having.
Yeah, and the game gets updated all the time with new content. I know just a couple weeks before the Switch version came out, they dropped a brand new expansion, like a full expansion for the PC version of the game. That expansion's coming pretty soon to PS4 and Xbox, and then I think it's expected early next year for the Switch. It's called Fortuna, and the developers have said probably by mid-summer 2019. All of the versions will be equal on where they are content-wise, and then they're hoping to keep that up so that anytime a new expansion comes out, the PC and all of the consoles will get it all at the same time. So, if you are even remotely curious, I say check this game out because it is very, very good. I'm playing. I know Ethan has played. There have been a few people from the Facebook group that have dropped in, and I've helped some people play through some missions, and we just had a good time.
And if you played on PC before and you don't want to restart it, or you don't like the idea of restarting again on Switch, and this is only on Switch, you can copy that data over to your Switch.
You can do it one time.
So, yeah, it's kind of like stepping back in time on the updates, and you're also taking kind of a hit in the graphics or the processing department. But at the same time, you're able to play with a whole new set of people.
Yeah, but to be fair, the game runs beautifully on Switch. I've not seen any outside of the main sort of hub area where there's this city that's on Earth.
There's several of those.
I know, but there's one early on that you get to within the first half hour or so, maybe hour.
I was actually able to skip that by just doing the direct to mission screen stuff this time around.
Really?
Yeah. Downside was I was soloing.
But that's the only place I've ever seen any slowdown is inside that hub city where any of the other player characters look like they're moving at about 5 frames a second.
I think it's like that on the PS4 and PC as well.
I think so. But other than that, the game it runs smoothly. It runs at 30 frames a second on the Switch, both docked and handheld, and it runs at 720p. But it's a fantastic game. I highly, highly recommend it.
Yeah, Shannon, we highly recommend it.
Highly recommend it, Shannon. You should play it.
Keep recommending. See if it happens. Keep on.
It's free, man.
So we have to go steal his Switch, download it on there, start it up, make an account for him.
Hey, if I have to, I'll do it.
Call Lauren while he's at work.
So, but that's what I've been playing. Definitely go check that out. But let's take a quick break. We'll come back and we'll talk about the news. I guess the biggest news story of the week, guys, is the release of Smash Brothers. I mean, I don't think there's anything that tops that this week, except for maybe the Red Dead Redemption Awards. But we'll get to that later. So you guys have had a chance to play Smash. I haven't played it yet. I've been playing Brawlhalla, not Smash. So what do you guys think of it?
I think it's amazing.
I played this one more already than I did the previous one.
Yeah, I'll give you that.
And I'm enjoying it.
I really like the new World of Light thing that's happening.
So is this supposed to be? Is this like a replacement for Subspace Emissary, that type of thing?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
It is Subspace Emissary. Sorry, I had to cough. It is like Subspace Emissary wherein you have like a map that you're going around, but every time you come upon a spirit, that spirit has possessed a clone of one of the characters that has been captured.
Okay.
So, have you guys played Rhythm Heaven?
Yes.
Okay, do you know the tennis characters? So there's like a cat and a dog that are playing badminton.
In the airplanes.
badminton in a biplane.
Yeah.
So that spirit for those characters whose names I can't remember, they escape me currently. Those characters their spirit is inhabiting Duck Hunt. So it's kind of on point. And the level that they chose was the Pilot Wings level where you are riding the airplanes through the sky.
Very nice.
So it's like that kind of very clever, well done. I don't know, and like they'll even favor their side special, so they're doing ranged attacks, like they're launching stuff at you. So it's pretty cool. Um, there's a lot of like really really well, cleverly thought out. Because they can't make all of these. It's like something in the neighborhood of like 1,500 spirits that are in the game.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe more than that, but I mean that's what I saw on the collection screen. And then there's tons that you can buy, and like through the in-game shops,
Mm-hmm.
and the Timmy and Tommy's Nookington's store. That is, man, if anybody has a Timmy and Tommy amiibo, scan that Joker immediately.
It'll give you
'Cause-
a quick step ahead of the game there.
Yeah, because I mean it gives you access to a shop that I have yet to come across
Really?
a
You
way
haven't
to
found
unlock
yet?
it normally. Are Timmy and Tommy just normally in
They're a
World of
shop.
Light?
They're like in the northwest area of that map, or no, midwest area. They're like around in the city stuff.
Okay, I went east.
Oh,
Like I'm in the forest. Anyway,
we'll talk after the show on that one.
okay. Um,
Anyway, the spirit battles are like Shannon said, they inhabit the clones, and it's basically a themed based challenge of some sort.
mhm.
So, like you'll fight uh, Mega Man. He's inhabited by, we'll say, Metal Man. So he's only going to throw the metal cut saws at you.
Mhm.
Just kind of cool little things like that. They'll favor other abilities, and it's just all right. It's like pick your spirits to buff your character however you want, and then go in there and beat them and take that spirit with you. And you have to consider the level, and then uh, abilities, stage hazards. Oh, geez, what else was there? Uh, Whether that person favors defense or offense or
Yeah.
what was it? Skill was the green? What was the green one?
There's items.
Anyway, there's
Defense,
a
offense, and neutral.
you have different types, so it's pick something that's going to give you advantage over that, and then you have to level up your own spirits as well.
Hmm. Like some of the really cool stuff. So like these themed spirit battles, you might have like high winds are in effect. So if you don't pick a heavy character like Bowser or something going into the match, you're going to get blown around the stage unless you equip
Wind
uh, a
resist.
a spirit that has wind resist. Like if you equip a Snorlax spirit, you gain that weight from the spirit that you got, so you're not going to get blown around the stage. So it's cool. You get these challenges, and you can either choose to play the stage with that challenge enabled, or if you've got the right spirit, you can go in and systematically choose to not have it affect you. So it's cool.
Nice. So, how many characters are unlocked from the beginning? Is it the original lineup?
Yeah, I think it was just the original 8. I think it's just Mario,
Mario, Yoshi,
Yoshi,
Donkey Kong,
uh-huh,
Samus,
Pikachu?
Link, Pikachu.
Zelda?
No, Zelda's not unlocked from the start.
Yeah.
Kirby.
I don't know. I went right to World of Light from the start, so for me it was only Kirby.
Yeah, it's not a lot. The way that characters are unlocked, though, there is a in the game for however many battles that you go into. So it for me, it's averaging every 4 to 5 battles that I have, whether I'm playing battles in World of Light or whether I'm playing battles couch versus or just against the computer in Smash mode. Every 4 or 5 battles, I will have a random challenger approach within a 10-minute time frame. So the game has this constant running 10-minute timer. So every time you battle a new fighter that you haven't unlocked yet, whether you win or lose, and whether you either unlock the character or you don't unlock that character, there's now a 10-minute cooldown that has to happen before you will either encounter a new character or before the one that you failed becomes available to challenge again through a menu option. So there is a workaround with that. Like if you close the game, like completely quit the application and then relaunch it, you'll reset that cooldown timer, and then you just go in and you do one battle, and you can either fight a new character that you haven't gotten yet, or you can go and try and unlock the one that you lost against. So, was that helpful? I feel like that wasn't very helpful.
It explained enough.
I got the idea.
I've only been unlocking people in World of Light, which means I have to go and find the original character and beat them, and then they're unlocked.
Okay, that brings up another good point. If you unlock a character in World of Light, you also get them for Smash battles.
Okay.
However, if you unlock a character in Smash battles, you do not get them in your World of Light playthrough.
Until you find them, right?
Until you find them, yeah. I mean, like the way it works is like if you fight them in World of Light and you unlock them in your single player playthrough of World of Light, you then have that character both in that single player game, and you can bring them into multiplayer Smash mode. However, if you're just playing through multiplayer Smash mode to unlock the characters, and you have 30 something characters unlocked in the roster, and you go into World of Light, you're only going to have the 2 or 3 or however many you've gotten to in those scripted spirit battles.
Mm-hmm.
You're not going to have all the ones that you unlocked in the other way of working through.
I want to say Subspace Emissary was the same way.
Okay.
So
it's a good way. It's a good way of incentivizing going through World of Light, because you get the benefit of progressing through that single player story and the unlock carrying in both directions.
Mm-hmm.
And it also doesn't decrease the value of playing World of Light by just giving you all the characters because you unlocked them the other way.
Yeah.
So
That's cool. How is the fighting itself? Have you noticed any big changes from Smash 4 or even Brawl?
It feels super fast. Like I feel like the speed of gameplay feels on point with Melee, which to me says they've brought it back to where it needs to be.
Mm-hmm.
Smash 4 felt kind of slow. I remember Brawl had a lot of like weird stuff going on, like random tripping and just weird frame skips and stuff that you just notice because it just happens, and you're like, I should have been able to pull that off and it didn't work. Why did that pass right through that character? Stuff like that. I'm not noticing any of that. However, because things are a lot faster, and because there's a lot more flourish and smoke and lightning and stuff happening on the screen, I feel like I have a super hard time keeping track of my fighter.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, there's the stages are huge, first of all.
Yeah.
Second of all, because everything is moving so quickly, there's smoke and dust and fire and lightning and all this stuff just happening around all of these moves, everybody hitting each other. Like, I'll think I'm moving my character and I look and point I'm like, whoa. 2 seconds later, I realize, hey, I actually almost walked off the stage, so I need to pay
You're
very
on the other side of the
attention.
screen.
Yeah, it's like, whoa, how did I get over there? So that might also just be I'm an old man at this point. So
I think that's fairly common for those big multiplayer fighting games like that. I noticed the same thing playing Brawlhalla, where if a bunch of characters are in the same area, or just if it's just two or three characters, the effects that come off of the characters when they're fighting cause you to lose track of where you are on the screen.
yeah,
That just seems to be a symptom of big multiplayer fighters. And I don't know what the way to fix that is, if there's even a way to really fix that.
Ethan, do you know Dewey?
Get good.
There you go.
Oh man. Something else that I thought was really cool is they in those scripted fights, or sorry, I started going through classic mode, which is very similar to, like Melee didn't have a story mode, but it had like, you fight 8 characters and then you go against one of the hands.
Mm-hmm.
Classic mode is kind of that, but it's very focused in on whatever character you pick. So like if you pick Ryu, you're not doing regular Smash battles for points or stock. You're going in a one stock match where it's a stamina fight. So both fighters might go in with 100 hit points and you have to knock your opponent down to 0. So it seems like they're doing clever little things like that to appeal to the fighting game community that has kind of swelled up around Smash in the last few years. Like trying to appease these people who love these one-on-one fighter games.
Do you think the fighting game community is going to take to this game more than they did, Brawl or Smash 4?
Yeah. I think this is a very good representation of what Smash is. I mean, and they've added in a bunch of stuff. However, they have taken some things away. Another new mode is, I can't remember what it's called. It's have any of you played King of Fighters?
Yeah.
Yes.
So like you have 3 characters. You have to knock your opponent's 3 characters out to win whatever the match is.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same thing. It's like a 1v1, but you pick 3 characters and you pick what order you go into the match with. And when, say you pick Mario, Luigi, and Peach, when Mario gets knocked out, you then go in with Luigi. When Luigi gets knocked out, you then go in with Peach. So it's like the game isn't over until you've run through your 3 rosters of characters or you have spent your opponent's 3 roster characters.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, they're adding these things that will work very well in a tournament setting. However, they've taken out stuff like Home Run Derby and Break the Targets and coin battles and like some of the cool, weird, insane stuff that you just like you never touch it until you have your friends over one night and you're just like, I wonder what this is, coin battle. And then you realize how stupid of a game it is, and then you turn on you play coin battle with launch at 2x and everybody at 250 hit points already, and or 250% damage. Launch is doubled, and only bombs dropping from the sky, and you just create something insane. And you realize that this is the only way Smash should ever be played with friends, and then it's gone. So, a couple of things taken away, but some new game systems that are going to work really well for Evo. Like, regular Smash is never going to disappear from Evo, but it wouldn't surprise me if this new, I wish I could remember what the mode is called, but the 3v3 fighter mode seems like it could be a new staple.
All right. Do you guys have any other thoughts about Smash?
World of Light can be difficult
Yes.
and very unforgiving.
Giga Bowser.
That was easy.
Oh. Disagree.
I've had harder fights in there than that fight.
Okay. We may need to talk later.
We'll just say one of them involved Samus and a lot of poison.
All right. Well, the man behind Smash Brothers was Masahiro Sakurai, and he was the creator of another game that I am very fond of, and that is Kid Icarus Uprising.
Yeah.
People, since that game has come out, have been asking, are we going to get a remake? Are we going to get a port to the Wii U
With proper
or
controls.
to the Switch with, dual stick controls? And the answer's always been no. And he's basically still saying that very same thing. During an interview recently with Edge Magazine, he said that a modern 3D port, or a modern port of the 3DS game was probably not likely. He said, as a game in general, it's rich in content and enjoyable, and people have even asked for a modern port. However, I don't think this will be possible. And he went on to say, I could say that, speaking of the development of the game, that this was close to becoming the most difficult project in my entire career, both in terms of the team and the hardware. The team I'd gathered differed greatly in culture and ways of thinking, so there was always confrontation. In addition, back when we were developing the game, we still couldn't make full use of the power of the 3DS. Some improvements in aspects such as the middleware were made later on, but since the game was being made in the initial stages of 3DS development, we had a really hard time doing what we wanted to do. And he's said in the past, if Nintendo wants to make another game, somebody else is going to have to do it. And it just looks more and more like if they do make a Kid Icarus game, Sakurai will not be involved in it.
That's a huge bummer.
Absolutely, because despite the controls, which I thought they weren't the best, but they weren't, they didn't make the game unplayable.
They're not game-breaking.
I loved Kid Icarus Uprising. I thought the writing was incredibly good. It was hilarious. The music was good. It looked really pretty on the 3DS. I think if they would put that on the Switch, an HD port of that game, it would look fantastic.
The marketing leading up to it was great. You guys remember when Nintendo Video was a thing? Man.
I do.
Palutena's crazy cooking, I forget what the heck it was called. Shelby's screaming at his iPod right now.
Well, and the thing with it was, the first thing we saw with that was the trailer where you see Pitt running through that blackness and then out into the game, and he said, "Sorry to keep you waiting."
God.
And it was like the perfect way to introduce that game, because it had been a very long time since we had a Kid Icarus game.
Calamari. Oh, so good, man.
I absolutely would love either a port of that game or a sequel on the Switch.
So it's worth bringing up. Sorry to sidetrack a second, but I don't know if we were going in this direction, but they finally released the final card this week.
Yes.
From Kid Icarus Uprising. Like, that game had 430 something cards, I think, that were released for the AR function of the game. Friend of the site and the show, former amazing editor extraordinaire, and everything with Nintendo Oki, Shelby Coulter, went through the complete process of getting every single card from every single region that was ever produced, and there was still one missing.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess it came out of something with Nintendo of Australia. Somebody posted a Twitter picture of the card scanned, like not the actual card, but now at least everybody can print it and scan the AR function into the game. Like it actually had some legit functionality. But I mean, yeah, it's hard to believe that. What's it been, like 8 years since
I'm
that
surprised
game
no
came?
one just data mined it and got the image needed and tried to recreate it.
So here's the deal. Shelby's been super active in that community on Reddit, because there is a very serious group of people
Mm-hmm.
that that one of the cards for this collection was a giveaway at a parade in Japan. They were given away off of a parade float in Japan. Nowhere else in the world was this card printed or produced. I know some people who have them, and Shelby's one of them. Like, the man, like, found the community, and they data mined the AR scan. So, like, there was a way to scan that little AR thing to get it to work in the game, but nobody knew what the face of the card looked like. Nobody knew, what was the specifics of the card.
Because it just looks for the information for the scan, and that's it.
Right. That little weird color and shape combination that was in the bottom corner of each one of those cards.
Yep.
Oh, that's what I was scanning? I thought it was like picking various details out of the picture and it's like, alright, this is what I need, and done.
No, it's like a little thing, a little tiny cell that looks like stained glass. And it's
okay. I vaguely remember that now.
Yeah, like it's pulling that little tiny image, and that's what pulls whatever in-game data happens when you scan the card. But yeah, it's hard to believe. Close to a decade after the game comes out, that it just finally comes out of the woodwork from a tweet, like leading up to Smash Brothers out of Nintendo Australia. Like, how weird is that? Sorry, didn't mean to sidestep. Thought it was
that was that was in the news this week. So, but yeah, bringing that game to the Switch would be amazing.
I would actually play it.
I would in a heartbeat buy that game again and play it on the Switch.
It's kind of hard to believe. It's kind of hard to believe that it wouldn't make a ton of money considering how popular the Switch is right now. I think anything that comes out of Nintendo, it doesn't matter what it is. It's gonna work. It's gonna work. It's gonna print money. So.
And a lot of other people will be able to play it because they don't have to deal with the awkward controls anymore either, because we'll have a proper right joystick.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, here's hoping. One day we will get a new Kid Icarus game, and it will be amazing.
Just not from Sakurai.
No, it probably won't be from Sakurai. The Kind of Funny Games guys had an event over the weekend, and there was one game that I know a bunch of people around the site were very excited for, and that was from the Yakuza developers. I think a lot of people were expecting a Yakuza announcement of some sort.
Yeah.
And that's not what we got.
Oh.
We did not get a new Yakuza game or, a port of some other games or something. No, the developers are working on a new game that was previously titled Project Judge. It now has a title.
Sonic the Hedgehog 5.
No. Oh. It's just called Judgment.
It's just called Judgment here in the U.S. In Japan, it's called like Judge Eyes and has some crazy Japanese subtitle.
Nice.
That's common though for games over there.
It's a weird name for a Sonic game.
It's true. The game will be out over the summer here in the States, and it will have an English dub.
Yeah.
So, and I know there was a lot of conversation among some of the guys in our private chats about this announcement and this dub. So, Shannon, do you know exactly what's going on with all of this?
So the trailer that closed out, well, almost closed out that Kind of Funny thing, was a English dub that is not that great, or at least what they showed and played of it is not that great, and it got a completely generic, like, name. Like the name for it is just Judgment. Which Micah criticized. There's a Castlevania game called Castlevania Judgment. I don't know his specific beef with that, but the name is super generic. I don't understand what the deal is with not calling it Judge Eyes. I don't know, but the internet kind of went in an uproar because the The dub does not sound that great from what they showed, and they did come back and confirm through Twitter, like through the Sega Twitter page, and I think even the Yakuza, the team of guys who did the Yakuza English translation for all of the games that have come out on the PS4 here lately.
Mm-hmm.
They did come out and say that there is going to be dual audio, so it'll have English dub as well as Japanese audio, and there's going to be two different English translations. There's going to be an English subtitle that matches the English dubbed audio, as well as an English subtitle that matches
The Japanese.
the Japanese translation. So that'll be interesting to get two completely separate English sets of subtitles in the game.
Really, the way you're going to want to play the game, though, is just like any Yakuza game where you play it with Japanese voice and English subtitles.
Most likely.
Yeah.
However, it doesn't. It doesn't really surprise me that they're doing this, because this is a new IP for them. Yes, it's using the Yakuza engine. Yes, a lot of the game is based in Kamurocho and based around very similar times as the Yakuza games.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't surprise me that they're going this route, because they want to try and give it a much larger appeal. Because doing this, they can put it on a GameStop loop, on one of those TVs in GameStop, and it'll play. The audio will play. Like when you hear Japanese playing in a GameStop store, you're not going to look up at the TV, but you hear this dude doing this dub. Maybe your eyes will perk. You'll peek your eyes up. What is that? So.
Yeah. So, coming from the Yakuza guys, though, the game's going to be good.
Oh yeah.
We don't really know a lot about the game at this point.
I believe it's already out in Japan.
Is
Yeah.
it?
December 13th of this year. So no, not yet.
Okay.
But it's
5
comes
days
out-
from now.
yeah, it comes out in 5 days in Japan.
5 days as
Okay.
of this recording.
So, by the end of the week, we will know a lot about the game.
Right.
But yeah, it'll be out in the summer here in 2019. So, be on the lookout for that. But while you're waiting for that, there's a new Tony Hawk game coming next week.
What?
Sweet.
It's an iOS game, though. So, it's called Tony Hawk's Skate Jam. It'll be out on iOS and Android. It is a free-to-play game with a career mode and global tournaments. The description mentions that the players can specialize in street, park, and vert styles, and there are 15 levels. So, this is not the first time that Tony Hawk has tried putting out a mobile game. There was one back in 2014 called Tony Hawk's Shred Session. I don't think that released worldwide, though. I think that was just in specific markets.
I forgot that came out.
This one, though, sounds very much like a Tony Hawk game. High flying tricks, cool jumps, super high scores. So the game will be out sometime in the next week. I didn't see an actual release date on the news story that I saw for that. But if you're interested, there will be a brand new Tony Hawk game on mobile platforms. So
It's a little hard to live up to the Tony Hawk Underground and the other stuff before that.
yeah, I think what was the last one that I played? It's been a while since I played a Tony Hawk game. The last skating game I played was the Shaun White one on Wii.
Oh yeah, that was like kind of the replacement for Tony Hawk, wasn't it?
It was, but it wasn't great.
It was like you had to skate around to build your skate place or something, wasn't it?
You were like it was a lot like the Blob, where you were restoring skating areas.
Yeah.
So, and
which is
as
weird.
you completed objectives and got high scores and did things, the skate park would be restored, and you would then be able to do more things on that skate park.
I'm guessing it was probably missing the charm from the Tony Hawk series or something. I don't know.
I mean, it wasn't a terrible game.
Right, but I mean, when's the
So,
last time you saw a Shaun White game?
back on the Wii.
There you go.
So, and then the outside of Smash, the biggest thing that happened this week in video games were the VGAs.
The Game
And,
Awards.
I'm trying to get all that stuff pulled up. Ethan, you and I and Jason and Stewart all watched the whole thing together.
Well, we watched what we saw of it, and apparently they were giving out awards even before we started watching.
Yeah, so we missed all that. I'm trying to pull up the full list of winners and things that happened during the show.
The show was supposed to start officially at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time, and me and Stuart started watching a little after 7:30 while waiting for you and Jason, Tony and Jason, to show up, and we saw probably 3 awards given out, and then right around 8 o'clock, Jeff Keighley's still standing in his spot, still talking to the camera, and says, "Okay, I guess we'll start the show now," and gave away another award right there. And it was just really awkward. There was no role in it. He just said, "All right, we're starting the show now." I was kind of missing the days back whenever it was on Spike TV and stuff, and Jack Black is there. And not that I miss Jack Black. I'm just saying I miss properly done media, like what they used to do, where instead of just saying, "All right, here it is," and then saying, "All right," oh, the stuff I already said. You get the idea at this point.
Yeah. Well, my biggest thing with the whole VGA, the Video Game Awards, and Shannon, I don't know if you've had a chance to watch them yet, or if you were even going to.
I cut clips of it here and there. I saw it's kind of turned into more of an announcement show and an appreciation of what happened. Like, it's,
That's exactly what I was going to say. There's not a lot of awards being given out during the Video Game Awards.
yeah,
It is mostly, it's like a mini E3 where it was mostly trailers and announcements and things like that.
Which I'm perfectly fine with that. In fact, I could have gone without all the awards.
So, if that's what they're going to do, just be upfront about it and don't try to hide it inside an award show. Just say, hey, you know what? We've got a whole big thing. Here's a bunch of things that are happening. Here's a bunch of trailers. So, I don't know. We'll go through some of the stuff that happened. We'll talk about the winners of the different awards. Red Dead Redemption was the game that got the most attention during the event.
Yes, it was.
But let's see. Some of the announcements that happened. Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3 was announced during this event, and it is a Switch exclusive.
Which is really weird. That started on 360 and PS3.
And then the first one came to Wii as well, I believe.
I think there was like a re-release of them, wasn't there?
Yeah.
It might have been around that time.
But yeah, Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3 was revealed. It is a Switch exclusive, which got a lot of people upset.
It also looked like it was using the graphics from either, I think it was that mobile Marvel game from recently released.
Yeah.
But they were like upscaled and better looking, but not by much.
Yeah, I mean, I've gone back and I've watched the trailer, and I missed this announcement when it first happened. You told me about it after I got onto the stream. But I do see what you're talking about. It does look, it's very heavily cel shaded. I'm not going to say it looks generic, but it doesn't have, or what I remember.
It's missing some level of charm.
those. And I know both of the first two games both had very different art styles. I remember the first one being leaning more heavily towards cartoony stuff, and then they tried to do a little bit more of a realistic visual for the second one. And then this one looks like it's going back towards that cartoony sort of look.
Kind of closer to cartoony crossed with Disney-ish sort of thing.
Mm-hmm. So there was that. Supergiant Games announced their next project, which looks like a Supergiant game. It's called Hades.
I forget what that one's about.
It's got that same visual look from games like Bastion. And
okay, yeah, I remember now.
So
that's the one I said the name was Hades because why not?
Yes, or Hades. But yeah, they are going to be putting out a new game. Ubisoft announced the next Far Cry, which is very colorful. There's a lot of pink in that game. Like a lot of pink. It's called Far Cry New Dawn.
There was a very, very lack of the color brown used, wasn't there?
There was. We were talking about that while the trailer was going on. That they're trying to make that game as colorful as they can, and there was not a lot of brown in it, which is good. I mean, we've seen a lot of shooters that rely very heavily on browns and grays and things like that. It was nice to see some color in a game.
Yeah.
Let's see. Crash Bandicoot showed up during the awards. Gave Jeff Keighley a giant trophy.
Please tell me it was the same dopey costume.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
With the hole in the big goofy grin so the guy could see through it.
Yep.
Oh man, I need to watch it.
The guy's
Did he
head
do
was
the
sticking
dance?
out of Crash's mouth. No, he didn't do the dance.
He was just there to say,
man.
here's a box for you.
Oh.
And it's a big crate.
There was a giant trophy in it, and they announced that Crash Team Racing will be getting remastered.
Cool.
And the game will be coming to everything in June.
It looks really good, just like the Crash remaster. Yeah, Crash remaster from recent.
Yeah.
I almost thought I said Spyro for some reason. That's why I hesitated. It's like, that's a very different game.
No, it looks much closer to the Crash game than the Spyro game.
One would hope, yes.
But it does look really good. They've taken that original game, they've given it a nice fresh coat of paint, and it looks really good. So that'll be out in June for Xbox, PlayStation, and Switch.
I wonder if the speedrun community can still do the same tricks they were doing in the original.
It's a very good question.
I'm doubting it, but if so, that's going to be a really amazing looking speedrun.
Then they showed off one developer showed off their mass murder character game, or monster, horror movie character game, Dead by Daylight.
Dead by Daylight, where the new murderer person that you can play as is able to blend in with the survivors.
Yeah.
It's kind of a genius idea, really. I think it's going to be kind of a game changer.
So have you played Dead by Daylight?
I've seen a lot of it played before, and no, I have not played it.
Yeah, I won't be playing it, so you'll have to tell me all about it, because that's not a game for me. Let's see. There was a game that looked like Monster Hunter crossed with Fortnite. It's called Dauntless. Coming to the Switch, Xbox One, and PlayStation 4, as well as mobile. It is a multiplayer hunt giant monsters, that style of game. It looked very much like Monster Hunter, but with a Fortnite skin on top of it.
Yeah, there's a lot of games using that kind of Fortnite looking style now.
The developer of No Man's Sky, Hello Games, showed off their new game called The Last Campfire, which I saw a little bit of No Man's Sky in this game. It looked like it has that sort of look to it. I didn't see a whole lot about this one, so I don't know everything about it.
We probably won't know until about a year after the game comes out.
That's probably true.
That's harsh. Those guys, they work hard on their stuff. I'm sure it's
No,
gonna
I
look
bet-
great at least.
I bet we don't have a repeat of the disaster that was No Man's Sky.
I would hope not.
So
No Man's Sky got a lot better. You guys are knocking it
did.
pretty hard. It may have been bad at launch, but this year it got
At launch,
tons
it was a
better.
very good proof of concept,
so
but not the proof of concept we were promised.
PUBG got a new map that they showed off during the event. The team behind Ark Survival Evolved showed off their new game called Atlas, which at first we thought was that pirate game whose name escapes me.
Sea of Thieves.
Yeah, Sea of Thieves. It is
Looks too pretty to be that.
This looks like a sort of pirate MMO type thing.
Should be very interesting.
Wizards of the Coast showed off a bunch of Magic and talked about how they're trying to push hard into the esports arenas.
They've been selling Magic online for well over a decade now, so that doesn't really surprise me. I mean,
Yeah.
I wish I know WotC doesn't hold anything over Pokemon like they did at one point, but
Mm-hmm.
I would love to see the Pokemon trading card game online.
Oh, that would be great.
Yeah, I would love to see that come to Switch. I mean, it works so well on like iPad and Android. I would love to see it come to an actual home console. The only problem with that is like the what you call it, the microtransactions. I'm not entirely sure how they would be able to pull that off. So
I'm sure
it
they'd
would be
fi-
possible. I
figure
mean,
out
there's a
to
lot
do
of
it really
games that do it
easily.
now.
even on Switch, like they'll
They'll find a way.
Fortnite and all that other stuff.
Yeah, there's a lot of free to play games on the Switch at this point that do microtransactions, so it would be possible. BioWare showed off a Dragon Age 4 teaser.
Yes.
There wasn't a lot in it, but it's just saying, hey, Dragon Age is coming. There was a trailer for Psychonauts 2.
It looked very.
Yes, there was.
It looks like the
And
game has changed quite a bit.
You guys all
Original.
sounded very excited about this trailer.
I am super pumped. That trailer looks amazing. I am so glad I was able to back it when I did. I can't believe it's happening next year. It looks incredible.
Ed Boon came out on stage to give out an award, and in the middle of that, he showed off Mortal Kombat 11.
Yes, he did.
And all I was saying during the whole trailer was, "Oh God, that just
That's
no,
gotta hurt.
stop!" That was my reaction to Mortal Kombat 11, and it's coming to everything. It's coming to PC, Xbox One, PS4, and Switch.
It's like, how can he see? He just took those knives to
He
the
just-
face.
Took his face off, and he's still fighting.
He got better.
Yeah, that all I saw was blood everywhere in that trailer. That's all I got out of it.
It wouldn't be Mortal Kombat otherwise.
That's true. That's true. Stranger Things is getting a new game. So this is a
Yes,
16-bit sort of RPG style action game.
Looks to be kind of on the diagonal sort of view thing instead of
Yeah.
the. I think the last one was just kind of like what, overhead, left and right, up and down movement only?
Yes. Yeah, I got it. Visually, it reminded me a little bit of something like Zombies Ate My Neighbors.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
Or
and this will follow the events of the upcoming third season of the show. Rage 2 was shown off, and that will be coming out on May 14th. And then the show ended with some Persona news. And I wasn't sure what was going on at first, because it just looked like a Persona 5 trailer, like there was going to be some more stuff with Persona 5.
which would be really weird. It's like, why is this? What is it coming to Switch? What's going on?
That was what I was thinking, was they were going to announce the game was coming to Switch. And in a way it is, because Joker had what was an envelope in his hand, and he flipped it over, and on the back of it, where the seal of the envelope was the Smash logo.
I'm so pumped. I can't believe this. You know what this means? You know what the ultimate meaning of this is?
What?
We're getting a Joker amiibo. Gosh.
Yeah. So yes, the main character from Persona 5 was announced as the first DLC character for Smash Brothers.
This is so cool. Like, I never in my wildest dreams did I imagine this to be a thing.
Well, no, because Persona's not on Switch.
Nope.
And the only Persona game that has been on Switch is Tokyo Mirage Sessions here in the States.
That was Wii U.
That was also just SNC.
That's true, it was
wasn't
Wii U.
Persona.
Yeah. Now, we have gotten Persona Q and Q2 on 3DS.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a thing. But yeah, I mean, this really kicks open the door. Like, if they're doing this kind of a partnership, who's to say that we don't get our portable remake of 5 on Switch? Like,
I think it's a given at this point.
oh my gosh.
What other character in Smash Brothers has not had a game on a Nintendo system at some point?
Cloud?
No, well, Final Fantasy's been on Nintendo systems.
Yeah,
before.
there have been Final Fantasy games.
Final Fantasy 7.
That's like the most renowned version of, or most renowned Final Fantasy, so that's why they went with Cloud.
Right, I'll give you that.
Otherwise, it's like we're getting Bart's or someone else, and it's like, why?
Like,
So-
I think the only thing that would have surprised me more is if it was Riku, like, or Sora, or like, there's not a way that they could have gone harder. I don't think. I can't even. However, at the same time, I don't think I would have ever even imagined Joker as a possibility. So
Well, we
Yeah,
still have
no.
other characters we don't know who they are yet.
Yeah,
Very
there's still 4 more.
unannounced characters.
Yep. So, but that's just going to open the door wide for speculation for who's going to be in Smash and what kind of announcements that leads to for Switch. I think probably, I don't know if they'll wait till E3, but sometime between now and E3, we'll get an announcement of Persona 5 on Switch.
I hope we do. That'd be pretty cool.
Yep.
Gives me an excuse to replay it.
It would give me an excuse to play it, even though I have a PS4 and could play it. I just haven't.
Little did any of us know that when Futaba was mentioning the similarities to Smash Brothers, or I think they called it Smash Fighters, during that social link event in Persona 5, was she foreshadowing this nonsense?
So, but yeah, so that was how they ended the show, was with the Persona 5 announcement.
She called it Super Bash Bros.
Yeah.
And then shortly after, I found a little 3-panel comic where Joker meets the girl Inkling.
Mhm.
The mistakes are for Futaba.
So, but that was the big non-video game awards things that happened during the Game Awards. So let's just go over some of the actual award winners, and as we were joking throughout the show, we called them the Red Dead Redemption Awards, because every time Red Dead Redemption came up, with I think two exceptions, they were the winners of whatever category was being talked about. And I've got the list pulled up right now. They won 1, 2, 3, 4. Four awards out of I think 6 that I saw that they were nominated for. So, and that includes
if they were
best
on the
narrative.
list, they probably won it. Almost won all of them.
Best narrative, best score, best audio design, and best performance.
Yes.
For Roger Clark as author Morgan. Those were all won by Red Dead Redemption. The one they didn't win was best art direction, which was Return of the Obra Dinn, which was a game I had never even heard of. But I think, Ethan, you had seen some video of it later, and
it's kind of like it looks like it's using the Game Boy graphics, but it's a full exploration, three-dimensional looking view. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think I'd heard about it probably a couple of weeks ago.
Games for Impact and Best Independent Game were both won by Celeste, which was good.
Well deserved.
Absolutely. Best Mobile Game was a game called Florence. Dead Cells won Best Action Game. Best Role-Playing Game, Ethan, you want to take a stab at this one?
I'll take a stab at the Rathalos that was on the cover of that. Monster Hunter World.
Monster Hunter World won Best RPG.
How did that happen? Like, I don't think of Monster Hunter as an RPG.
Monster Hunter World was pretty good.
Yeah, but
I forget what it was up against, but I mean, I don't think I voted for it on there. But looking at
what about stuff like Dragon Quest XI or
it's the Game Awards. It's mostly voted for by people that are just gonna flock to
idiots.
Yes.
I don't know what a
genre is.
Like, I don't know that we need to go that far.
Okay, sorry. I don't know. Like, when I think of Monster Hunter, I think it's like an action adventure game, or in Monster Hunter World, it's like an MMO. I don't think of it as an RPG. I don't know. There's not really much of a story there.
It's one of those where you have to consider an RPG has diminished from the original use that it might have been.
Okay.
Best fighting game was won by Dragon Ball FighterZ.
You said it properly. Good job.
Thank you.
Jason did not know that the Z on there is part of the word fighter. So fighters.
It's not Fighter Z?
No.
No, it's Dragon Ball FighterZ. Best family game was Overcooked 2.
Best
and I
friendship
said it was
ruiner as well.
I said it should have been Best Family Destroyer. Because that's what that kind of game does. Overcooked 2 won Best Family Game. Best Racing Game. Shannon.
Forza Horizon 4.
Yes.
It's kind of like the only racing game that came out this year.
Yeah, there was a couple.
Hey, Hello Kitty Cruisers was out this year.
That's true.
That's a good point.
Best multiplayer game was won by Fortnite.
Best strategy game was Into the Breach.
Into the Breach.
Which that actually is really interesting looking.
Best debut indie game was The Messenger. But you haven't seen that. It looks very reminiscent of old NES games like Ninja Gaiden.
Yeah, that's the one I called Ninja Gaiden.
Yeah. Content Creator of the Year was won by Ninja.
Meh.
And we said this was the best Fortnite streamer, because that's all of the people in the category were Fortnite streamers.
It's like, how did he win this? Well, I wonder.
Everybody in that category was a Fortnite streamer.
That too, yeah. The preview thing for each of the people in the entries was Fortnite. So, yeah, there you go. You want to be considered a content creator, just play Fortnite.
There you go. The bunch of esports awards. Best esports game was Overwatch.
Eh,
Best esports player was Sonic Fox. Best esports team was Cloud9. So, and then best esports event was the League of Legends World Championship. And best esports host was Scodge.
I don't know. I don't know who these people or teams are.
Yeah, I don't
These
know.
are games I don't play because I have better things to do.
Okay, I'm going to take it back for a minute. The nominees for best role-playing game were Dragon Quest XI, Ni no Kuni 2, Octopath Traveler, Pillars of Eternity, and Monster Hunter World.
I would say every single one of those is better than Monster Hunter World.
Yeah.
What? Okay, sorry. I just had to fact check that. What else was in the category?
Monster Hunter World was probably the most easily approachable out of all those for newcomers to just enter into.
That's true.
Yeah,
and that's the name they were familiar with, and they're like, "What's this Ni no Kuni garbage here?" And that's why. I'm not saying that in my personal opinion, because I know Ni no Kuni is a decent or good game because I have not played it because I was left out of the Wizard Edition journey you and Micah went on.
It's still good.
And then I think what we all thought was shock of the night, game of the year, was not won by Red Dead Redemption. We all sort of figured it was a foregone conclusion considering they'd won every other award that night. But game of the year was won by God of War.
Huh.
Yeah, you would have thought the Rockstar fanboys would have dialed that one in.
I would like to say God of War is a good game. It is legitimately fun and well constructed. So, well done.
So there you go. I think this is sort of one of the first years I've not seen a Nintendo exclusive win any big awards.
And Smash Brothers came out after the fact, so yeah.
Yeah. So it sort of won't even be considered for next year's awards.
Oh, that's
it just kind of gets lost in the shuffle.
Oh.
Yeah.
Because it could have won Best Fighting Game, but
yeah. Oh yeah.
It was out after the awards ceremony.
Man.
So. Which is one of the things I think they need to do if they want to, make that for a specific year. They need to consider the entire year, and the Game Awards need to be after the first of the year and not at the beginning of December.
That's what they do with a lot of the other aren't the Oscars and the Emmys and all that?
They're
stuff?
in February or something.
Yeah, they happen months after the fact, so everybody has a chance to reflect on the whole year.
Mm-hmm. Which I think they absolutely need to do with the Video Game Awards.
The only thing I think that doesn't work in that is the Video Game Awards can clearly be used as a source of marketing.
Well, yeah.
Because now, when
all of these things, their Christmas advertisements will be winner of this and winner of that.
Right.
All of that. Yeah. So
because you also know that most of these studios probably knew ahead of time that they were the winner to some extent. They have time to construct that marketing. So the day after they can advertise and go, did you miss out on the #1 free to play whatchamajigger? Well, go check out the Fortnites.
Yeah. Fortnite Season 7 just dropped too, and there was some big changes to the map of Fortnite.
They destroyed Tony's favorite drive-in theater.
They did. Risky Reels is gone. It's been replaced
Supposedly they did that live on the show.
Yeah. It's been replaced by a giant metal slab where they're going to put user-created content because Fortnite just got a creative mode. And they're going to showcase the best things that they find from that creative mode in this one particular area on the map. Which is kind of cool. I got to admit, it's neat, but Risky Reels was sacrificed for that. And Santa Claus is now in the game, but he looks like
Santa
Super
Claus and his
tough.
army of snowmen are gonna save us all from Fortnite's evil grasp.
There you go. So there, that is the video game awards. Any other thoughts before we move on to listener feedback?
Nope.
It was kind of neat seeing the guy that played Kratos and the kid that played. Oh, jeez, I forgot the kid's name.
Boy,
It was kind of neat seeing them accepting
Atreus.
Atreus accepting one of the awards together, and then he just looks over at the kid and says, "Boy."
yeah,
The crowd just lost it there. It was great.
yeah. So, no, so our one question this week comes from Nathan via Facebook, who wants to know if we were a Smash character, what would our general fighting style be? What would some of your attacks be, and what would your final smash be? I think we've tackled this question before. Also, he wants to know, and this is the part we can sort of take on. What characters would you like to see in Smash Brothers? John Wick would be awesome. That's who he wants.
Yes, it would.
I imagine he's using Gun Fu for basically all his attacks. One of his taunts is simply reloading. The other taunt is him reloading a shotgun and damaging whoever's in the blast. His final smash would be him calling his car from the opposite edge of the stage. Whoever the car hits is targeted for the second portion of the final smash, where he runs into them with the car while emptying his gun into them. I think that's a little bit violent for Smash Brothers.
I'm sure Joker will probably do that because we know his guns aren't actually real.
And then he ends it with, also, I wouldn't mind seeing Waluigi. Piranha Plant is a character, but Waluigi isn't. Okay.
I'm just sitting here imagining all of the dogs that are in Smash Brothers and John Wick, and how much amazing content you could create. Just crazy, silly internet memes with John Wick and Isabelle, or just
John Wick and Duck Hunt. Yeah. Yeah, it would be fantastic. I don't think we'll see a character like John Wick in the game.
no. But that's good. That's good. Well, I'm very surprised he didn't call out Shadow. So.
We all know who the top of my list is and will be until she gets in the game, Jill from Drill Dozer. I don't care. I will always say that as my answer. Jill from Drill Dozer needs to be in the game.
I have already gotten my wish with Villager years ago, and I am super pleased. I am not, I would love to have Tingle as a playable character, but I am content with him being an assist trophy.
Mm-hmm.
I am not going to sit here like all of you crazy Waluigi people and scream at the internet while a Piranha Plant gets in. Like, I'm, he's there. Waluigi's there. So, take it for what it is. I would like to see coin battles return. I know they haven't promised any sort of stage or match functions coming back, but knowing how these games get patched on a regular basis, I would very much like to see some of that stuff, like Break the Targets, Home Run Derby, and coin battles come back.
Yeah. Let's see. Trying to think of the one character that I'm thinking of.
Bullet Witch.
Well, yeah. Obviously. Mr. Falls a Lot from Labo would be a good character to have in Smash.
Oh, man. I got the Labo suit for my Mii Fighter. Like the robot Labo cardboard suit.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
That is Mii Fighter outfit, so Cardboardo is now my main. When I get on, it's my Mii dressed up in the Mii Fighter, the Labo robot kit. His name's Cardboardo.
There you go.
I would like to see. The character doesn't actually have a name, as far as I know, but he's the main character from RoboTrack. I'd like to see him kind of get in the game somehow. He'd probably be treated like the Pokemon trainer because he uses 3 different robots, and they would probably have one that's like sword, one that's gun or laser or whatever, and then the other one would be like axe or something.
I'm thinking Groose from Skyward Sword would be a good inclusion.
I remember Custom Robo being a thing, but I don't think anything from Custom Robo has ever made it into a Smash game.
Let's see. Cool. We could get a character from Dragon Quest in.
You know what?
That's fair.
Yeah. I need to fact check because I forgot his name, but I know who I would want from Dragon Quest XI. I just gotta remember his name.
Like, Tornico would be... No, he would not be a good character in Smash. Even one of the monsters would be a good inclusion. If Ridley can be in the game, one of the monsters from Dragon Quest could be in the game. Like, the character from Dragon Quest Builders would be a good inclusion. He'd be sort of like Villager.
Sylvando. I would love to see Sylvando from Dragon Quest XI come in.
My joke answer. I know I said Bullet Witch, but my joke answer would be Suna from Hitman Reborn, because I recall playing the what was it? Smash Ultimate Jumps. It was like Smash Ultimate on DS several years ago, or a lot of years ago. We'll say with that. And in order for him to use his abilities, he has to get shot in the head. So with a special bullet, so this dying will flame comes out. So his dying will is to survive or whatever. And whenever he does that, he explodes out of his own body. So he's just in his underwear with a flame on his head, just beating the crap out of people with his fist. And he's got various abilities, like a spring will pop out of his head from stuff, and his hands can get big and stuff. It's just kind of a funny little thing. I think it'd be fun to have that in the game.
Cedric or Kane from not Dragon Quest, Final Fantasy IV would be good inclusions. Or, we've got all those Final Fantasy games coming to Switch. They could announce Final Fantasy 13 is coming to Switch, and we can get Lightning in the game.
They could give us the chibi mascot Chocobo from like the Chocobo Dungeon series.
Yeah. That'd be good. I think the announcement of Joker just opens up the possibilities for a ton of different franchises that we might not even be thinking of.
Spider-Man. You thought Joker was cool. Just wait until you're web slinging all over the place.
What if we got the Joker?
Oh, man.
Voiced by Mark Hamill. So.
The Joker, voiced by Mark Hamill, revoiced by Nolan North.
How do you revoice a voice? You just get rid of the first voice?
That's basically what they did with Destiny.
Okay.
No, Mark Hamill does a great job. I wouldn't want to replace that.
There you go. We could speculate for hours about characters that would show up in the game. But I think that is going to do it for this week. So thank you, Shannon, for being on the show.
It was a pleasure.
And thank you, Ethan.
You're welcome. I didn't have anything prepared, so there you go. That's what you get.
That'll work. If you want to reach out to us, we have tons of new ways to do so. You can email us at podcast@procgent.com. That's PROCGENT.com. You can send us a voicemail if you want by clicking on the voicemail link on the right side of the website. You can send us voicemails up to 90 seconds in length, and we'll play those on future episodes of the show and respond to the questions that you have. If you like what we do here, you can now support us on Patreon, patreon.com/PGEnt. Patreon supporters will get a video version of the podcast a day early. These will normally go out on Tuesdays. Patreon supporters will get them on Monday. Follow us on Twitter at twitter.com/ProGenEnt. Check out our YouTube channel that we've got and see the content we've got going on up there. And then we still do have the Facebook group where you can interact with us on a daily basis as well.